All right, welcome to Metal Messiah Radio. We got a special guest, and with Klas from Krilloan, if I can
pronounce that for
pronounce
us.
this for
I'll try. Krilloan.
Krilloan. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here, guys.
So tell us about your band.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about this band. First of all, it's not really a band. it's more like a project that's based from my little basement where I'm sitting right now when doing this interview. So I really got this type of idea a couple of years ago, like 18 months ago or something like that. So we had a band. We played, a bunch of friends who played for several years, and then it was laid to rest. And I thought at that time I wasn't really done with the music. So, hey, what do? You buy a basement studio.
That's right.
Yes, of course. I had no idea on how these things worked. No idea about mixing, mastering, and stuff like that. So I tried to learn. So basically what I did is I recorded one of the songs from our last band, and that was not a metal band. That was more like a rock band, like AC/DC stuff.
Right.
Stuff like that. And then one day it just hit me. I always loved the power metal and the speed metal, especially from back in the day, late 80s and early 90s.
Oh, hell yeah.
I thought to myself, why don't I play this? So the first original plan was just to record one song for me to learn how to actually record the song.
Oh, yeah.
And then it went on from there. So basically, to a very long story to give it short, I started off on my own, and then I have a friend of mine, Steve Brockman, who lives in Germany. He's actually the only person in the band, if we call it that I've actually met. And we met at the Sweden Rock Festival, a very, very big festival here in Sweden, one of the biggest in Europe when it comes to metal and hard rock, heavy metal. Like 25 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And then we have had this connection since then. And we're always kidding around about we should do something together, something musical, because he has always been playing music, and me as well, of course. So I invited him to play the solo for the first song, the Yggdrasil song, the single that came out last year in April.
Right.
So that's how that came about. And after that, for the second song, Moonblade, the second single last July, if I remember correctly, I thought that mixing and mastering wasn't really my thing. It was too hard. It was very hard, and it took too much time away from the actual playing and writing songs. So at that point, I was a lot on forums and stuff like that all over the internet and the metal groups. So then I found Alex, the singer, who lives in Portugal.
Oh, wow.
And Alex usually plays in a lot of cover bands. He has a very big cover band in Portugal who plays Queen songs. And then he plays, I think, if you remember correctly, one Bon Jovi band and one Offspring band, and he has too much stuff going
Holy
on.
moly.
Wow.
All the time. So if you have the time, look them up. The Queen band is very, very good. One Vision is their name. So very good cover band of those guys. And after that, everything just rolled on after that. And then I found David, the drummer, and Marco, who plays bass. And then suddenly I had this international band because Marco is from Argentina and David is from Ecuador.
Oh, wow.
So there's people from all over the world, and that was one of the coolest things about this. Now when it's all done, I mean, people from all over the world, and we haven't met actually, but we can do this over the internet.
Right.
That's cool.
Because
That's cool.
Yeah. Because we share the love for metal, and people just, let's do this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great.
So you're doing all of this remotely then?
Yeah, basically, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
Of course.
crazy.
So what is
So
do you I'm sorry. You can go ahead. Please.
I shoot.
I was going to ask you if you had any influences.
Yeah, what are your major influences?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the 80s.
Yeah.
Basically, so I mean, I grew up with Kiss is my absolute favorite band of all times, and
Awesome.
then of course Iron Maiden and all the melodic 80 hard rock, glam metal, Bon Jovi and stuff like that. But then later, of course, Halloween, Hammerfall, Blind Guardian, Gamma Ray, the German power metal scene has been the biggest influence, especially for Krilloan.
Oh yeah.
And then of course we have an old American band called Riot.
Yep.
Oh, I love Riot.
Who is a very cool band. Absolutely. So for Krilloan, that's the main focus and the main influence. Absolutely.
Sweet.
I was gonna say you guys are twins then.
Oh, yes, we
There
are.
we are.
Yes.
That's cool. Awesome.
I'm always teasing him about the German power metal thing being kind of his vein, and I'm more towards the like progressive kind of end.
Yeah.
But you
Right.
if for Toby, you always go back to the German roots
yeah.
as far as that goes, and then of course 80s hair metal.
It's I love
Everything
it.
on Toby's spectrum is always 80s hair metal. I give him a great deal of crap about it, but it's definitely in his roots.
I hear a lot of crap as well, but don't bother with that, Toby.
Well, it's not. It's
we
not,
are right.
It's not right or wrong. I just like to write him a little bit about it because he'll be like, "What do you think of this?" And I'm like, "It's so dated." And he's like, "But it's good." And I'm like, "Yes, it's good, but it's dated." It sounds like you could stick it back in 1985 because it's 80s hair. And he's like, "But I love it." And I'm like, "Yes, but you need to play a different show for that."
Yeah. That's probably true.
Absolutely. So, I mean, as far as this project, as far as Krilloan and what you're doing, you said you've been a project for 18 months. So it's fairly new. It's not, it's kind of maybe a post-pandemic kind of project. You really started it when the pandemic started, right?
Yeah, you can say that. It made it a lot of things possible, especially to have people available to do these things.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely, but I think the project has probably been in my mind the last 30 years because this has been a lifelong dream to do on my own metal label, metal record. Sorry.
And it's kind of funny because I think a lot of the interviews that we've done recently, a lot of the people that we've spoken to have said that they've had a lot of project ideas that they've wanted to do, and now they've had the opportunity to make an album that they've wanted to do for the last 20 years, and now it's possible for them to do so.
Yeah, I read that too and heard a lot of people say that. So that's really amazing. One of the positive effects of this whole crap.
Absolutely, absolutely. When you're not doing music, what do you like to do in your off time, or do you have any off time for hobbies?
Probably the last year has been a lot of time to this. And then I have a family, wife, and 2 kids. And the kids are starting to grow up. So probably that's one of the reasons I had the time to actually start this as well. But otherwise, we like to go hiking, so a lot of time in the outdoors.
Oh yeah.
Some training, but that's usually it. And then I'm in the Swedish National Guard as well, so a bunch of military stuff. So I have a lot of things going on all the time. I don't know how I find the time, but I mean it's 24 hours per day, so I sort it out.
So when we talk about the EP, about Stories of Times Forgotten, so the release date was May 21st, which was, well, we're going to be airing this obviously in the future, so we're talking future, but congratulations on the release, which was just 2 days ago. What was the reception like? I mean, what kind of response are you getting?
It has been very good. I mean, the plan for this was not to release it at all.
Oh, wow.
I mean, my thought was to put it out on Spotify, but not to do anything about it, if you understand what I mean.
Right.
But during the time, I mean, I have tons of emails and messages and stuff like that when people have heard the songs, and people from all over the world. So that's basically the idea for the EP just came like, I think last autumn or something like that. When people had just connected to me and said, you had to do more.
Oh, yeah.
So it has been very, very well received, and we have got, I don't know how many good reviews on the EP, and probably we've struck a nerve. I don't really know what it is, because I just play the music I like to hear myself, so I just do that. So I have no idea, but many people have said that power metal, especially these days, is very is so very clean, especially the sound of it and the keyboards and stuff like that. And one of the things we said at the start, we should have no keyboards, nothing like that, just guitars, bass, basic rock setting, back to the basics. So it has been very, very well received. And the Fireborn, the single for this, was released, I don't remember the date now, but 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Right.
And I think we're up to like 10,000 streams on just Spotify, and all the streaming services probably around 20,000 in total.
Wow.
And for a totally unknown band, that's pretty amazing.
Exactly. Well,
So I'm very happy.
like you had mentioned, Yggdrasil came out well over a year ago, and then Moonblade was your second single.
Yeah.
Okay, and so now Fireborn's the third, and now the whole EP is out. So you've got five songs total. And,
Exactly.
and
So 3 of them were singles.
Right.
Right.
So you didn't really intend, like you said, to release an entire EP, but now you have.
No. Exactly. So the plan was just to do one song. Okay, this is fun. I do another one. And then I just released it. But then this was fun, so I want to do an whole EP in order to be able to do it like a physical CD.
Right, right.
So do you have, I guess the segue to that is, do you have a plan now or more material that maybe a full length might come next if you have enough time, or if the rest of your bandmates internationally would make time? Could you do more?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have another single that's in the starting, and it's already written. So I think I'm going to send it to the other guys in a couple of weeks, and then they will do their stuff, and hopefully it will be released sometime after summer.
Awesome.
So that's cool, and probably one more after that. So we will see what comes out of it. But at the moment, I don't think I have enough time to actually record a whole album.
Right.
Because these things takes forever.
I believe.
Well, like you said, it
But of
takes a
course.
lot of time to mix and master, and you just want to write, songs, and that's time consuming.
Well,
But
I'm gonna let you know you've done a fantastic job on this EP. It has blown me away. I mean, I love the content. I love how you keep Scandinavian history alive, and I give you credos. Perfect.
that's awesome to hear, Toby. You have been a supporter for I don't remember how long. I mean, it must have been when the first single was released, or was the second?
Yeah. I think it was the first.
Pretty much day one, I
Day
think.
It was.
Yes.
How the hell did you find us?
The first time I found you was on YouTube, actually, and
Right.
I'm like,
Okay.
where did this guy come from? And I'm like,
Cool.
and that's when I just started. I said, I got to get a hold of him. We got to play him on our show, and I think this is fucking fantastic. I loved it from day one.
That's so cool to hear. I remember when you wrote to me, that was like, what the fuck did just happen? A guy from the USA who have a radio show wants to play my song.
Yeah.
I couldn't really believe that, because I think that was the first time we actually got some type of person interested in it.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love every song that you've made so far, and you do not disappoint at all.
That's cool to hear.
Toby's a
will
digger,
try-
though. He's a digger. I mean, he finds something on YouTube and it'll say, if you like this, you like that. And he starts digging deep and looking for stuff. And he doesn't care. He just goes and listens, and he'll be like, nah, or Lori, you got to hear this.
You gotta
and
hear this.
he finds some really obscure stuff underground, and it's amazing what he's finding out there. And people are just like, wow, I've never heard of this, but it's fantastic. We love it. We love the underground. I mean, it's easy for you to throw out, Halloween or any of the big name stuff. We love all of our heroes, and we love the stuff that pioneered the genre. But there's so many good bands out there that are making some really great music, and it's fantastic to be able to give them that shot, that platform. We just play what we like. We don't really care whether it's popular or not, but that's
the way to go.
But it's just fun. But it's giving, like Toby says, he'll listen to something and go, oh my gosh, this has got everything I love. It's got power. It's got, for him, it's got a Scandinavian, talking about the Tree of Life, or talking about something that really hits home. And he'll be like, I'm going to play this for everybody. I don't care if they like it or not. But it fits
That's
our
cool.
platform. We like power metal. That's kind of our core.
Yep.
Not that we don't like 80s metal or anything else or different platforms, but we just like that. So it's been a really fun ride. It's pretty cool.
But I mean, that's one of the things I think is so damn cool with this, especially heavy metal genre. People are so unbelievably helpful, and everyone is trying to help each other.
Right.
I mean, there is so much amazing underground bands, like you said, Laurie. But they will never be heard or seen because they are not big names on the big labels and stuff like that. And like Toby, I mean, if you dig a little bit, you can find so many amazing bands. I mean, the last week I heard the Swedish band. I don't know if you have heard them, Evermore.
Yeah.
You heard them?
Yes.
You see?
He's using them on his YouTube channel. I mean, shameless plug, but he's doing some other project. He's doing a YouTube channel, and he got permission from them, from Evermore, to use one of their songs as his intro, because he loves their band. So, ironically, it's funny that you would mention them.
Yeah. I mean, I've never heard about them. I haven't seen the name and stuff like that, but I just heard them the other week, and I got the CD this Friday.
Yeah!
And I mean, this is probably the best power metal I've heard in like 10 to 15 years.
It's really good.
It has everything. So, and very cool guys. I talked to the guys the last week as well, so they're very cool guys.
That's cool.
Very good music.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, we talk about that too, just finding bands on different continents that you would have never thought of, especially South America lately. There's just so much power metal coming out of all areas of South America that we would have never thought of. You had mentioned like Argentina and just other areas, and we're just like, wow, you would have never thought. You always think, oh, Brazil is just like Sepultura or death metal or something, but it's not. You're finding stuff from, recently we're finding stuff from some of the old Soviet bloc countries and stuff over in Russia, and it's unbelievable what's coming out. It's like
just be amazed.
It's crazy how it's translating into power metal. It's just great, and you're finding new people that you can talk to, and just finding out about their culture is just different because it's different in different parts of the world, and so it's just cool to talk to people from all different parts of the world.
Absolutely, I love it. I love it
too. We talked about that last week with the guys from Drakkar too, about just our culture, about our heavy metal, counterculture, just as a family of people who all like the same things and have the same kind of values, and it's been a great ride. We've all kind of, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, you'll find friends as long as you see somebody with an Iron Maiden t-shirt and you're like, hey, that's my brother, you know what I mean? And you can go up and have a conversation with them, and you know that they're going to be cool. So it's
I know what you mean.
It's kind of neat.
It's fantastic. It's totally amazing. I mean, in this world we are living in, that's one thing that is at least constant. Heavy metal guy people.
Heavy metal.
You can always trust them.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like that if you're lost or if you're by yourself in a weird city, but you see somebody in a Maiden shirt, they're gonna be cool, and you can go talk to them. Hey, where can I go get something to eat? Oh, this guy can tell me because he's cool. So it would be great.
So I want to ask you, who did the artwork for your EP?
That was a guy from Colombia, Felipe Fernando Franco. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I think that's correct. I don't speak Spanish, but
we don't either. We're learning.
He's a quite well-known guy in this scene. He has painted covers for Blind Guardian.
Oh, wow.
And done a few things for Gamma Ray as well, and a lot of big names, so to speak.
Okay.
Taking notes.
Yeah.
We always like to learn and figure out what's going on, and
I look him up on the internet. He has some very cool stuff.
I definitely will do that.
Awesome.
Thank you. So, you want to ask him?
Well, I already asked about a full-length album.
Yeah. And we know about your future plans for right now. I mean, you're still, of course, you have your home life and stuff to take care of. Mm-hmm. But as far as Krilloan, you're planning on putting on 2 more songs, possibly, correct?
Yeah, I hope to at least get 2 more songs this year. Okay. That's at least the plan.
That's fantastic. How I should say, how are you doing in all this pandemic mess?
Yeah, how is that how's that affecting your personal
life?
In Sweden, I don't know how much you read in the US about Sweden in the newspapers, but in Sweden it hasn't been that very much of a difference. I mean, I think the only thing that we actually notice is like some workplaces has been closed down and people work from home.
Right.
So my wife works from home, for example. I work at my workplace because I cannot work anywhere else. And then the restaurants and bars, of course, they close earlier, stuff like that. But otherwise, Sweden has not been that very drastic actions for this. And of course, that's not always that very good because the disease is everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, in my personal life, not that much, actually. And then, of course, I sit in my basement all the time, so it doesn't affect me at all.
So, yeah, we had kind of started, before we started our interview, we asked you some questions about the pandemic and how that was different, because, you know, it's changed so much over here. Again, I got sent home to work from home, and now that's a permanent thing. So it's changed the dynamic of the way we all do, but vaccines being available for you know, Swedish people, and like you had said, it's if you're born at a certain time now you can get vaccinated. Over here it's the same kind of way. They did it in phases, but now most of the states are lifting mask mandates, so a lot of people are saying, well, now you if you're vaccinated you don't have to wear a mask or whatnot, and we're just like, doesn't matter, I'm not changing anything. I'm going to wash my hands, stay home, and social distance, because you don't know. It's not like anybody wears a button that says, hey, I've got my vaccine, you know?
True.
You know, you don't know what's going to happen, but it's changed the outlook on things, especially with music, because people are, you know, well, I want to go back to live shows and I want to go to concerts. It's changed that dynamic here. A lot of festivals not happening for 2 years and everybody's really wanting to go out and see shows live. I'm not ready for that yet, I don't think. You know, but
that's probably one of the things that people are missing here as well. It's like the cultural events, like concerts and stuff like that. So,
so as the listeners, for listeners' views, and where can we buy your merch, your EP? Where's the best place we can possibly get that stuff?
Yeah, tell us where to find
the EP, the physical CD we're not really 100% about that yet.
Okay.
We were signed to Storm Spell Records in California, USA,
yeah.
And they will release the CD in 500 copies, so it will be available, and hopefully sometime, I think the last date I got was June 9th.
Okay.
So, but somewhere in June.
Somewhere in June. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we can find you on Facebook, and then any other social media platforms. Do you guys do Instagram?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and Bandcamp.
And Bandcamp.
Okay.
Bandcamp
Yeah, that's the three main.
That's Toby's favorite platform.
That's my favorite platform.
Yeah.
They don't take all your money like Spotify, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea about Bandcamp just a year ago. I never heard of it. But then I just discovered this is like how much fantastic music you cannot. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I found so many bands there.
Now, would you prefer digital or physical copy?
Physical.
Physical. See?
Yes, vinyl.
Absolutely,
Yes.
vinyl.
Love vinyls.
Yeah.
It should look like this.
Yes, yes.
I was just going to say that. I was like, okay, here we go. We got it too.
Yeah, you see.
And a whole
But then,
bucket
of course,
of
the digital it's very good in order for like distribution and to get stuff out these days, especially for a small unknown band. But I've always loved them. I mean, the dream is to release something on vinyl. That's the ultimate goal someday.
That's awesome.
Right. Is there anything that you would want people who have never heard of you or your projects, is there anything that you would want them to know about you?
Me? What is there to say?
Well, I know it's to put you on the spot question, but what would you want them to know about your project or about your band or
I think
last words?
The thing you can say about Krilloan, and I think that goes for a lot of bands, absolutely, but this is purely made out of, I think I have that written somewhere on some of the socials. This is made of pure love of this genre. I always loved the melodic metal, and this is my tribute to the last 30 years of melodic metal that I've been growing up on.
Awesome.
So it's done by heart, 110%.
And nobody could ask for any more.
That's right.
I hope not.
How did you come up with the name Krilloan?
Yeah, is there a meaning
Is there a
behind
meaning
the name?
behind it?
It is. I will show you. See. So basically, the whole thing started out for a friend of mine, one of my childhood friends, who used to play role-playing games together when we were young.
Okay.
You probably know what Dungeons and Dragons and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
In Sweden, we have this.
Oh.
Okay.
Drakar och
Yeah,
Demoner.
Demoner. So this is like the equivalent to Dungeons and Dragons
Oh,
in
that's
Sweden.
sweet.
And it was very big in the 80s and in the 90s. So people in Sweden, people over 40, guys especially, grew up with this stuff. So when I thought about the name, I found this sitting in my basement. That could be something.
Oh yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
So like,
It's there
Yeah,
in print.
and it's like a book about a city of adventures. So I thought that would be quite suiting when I thought about it. So
That's
how
excellent.
that came about.
That is really cool. I like that. That's very creative. Very creative.
Cool.
Very cool.
Right, I think that's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
Any last words? Anything else you want to say to anybody who's listening or fans?
Yeah, no more than that. You guys are totally awesome,
Oh, well, thank you.
And I-
Thank you. Appreciate
and I
that.
thank you very much for the interest in this little humble metal project.
Oh, you're very welcome. We're honored to actually play this on our show, and we thank you for that opportunity.
Yeah, we can't
I'm
thank
really
you enough
glad to hear it.
for the time and for spending some time talking about your project. Thank you.
That was cool. We have to do this again. This was fun.
Yes.